This is the Cult Faction Podcast, Episode 2, Captains, Kings, and Other Things.
Superman.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Cult Faction, Episode 2 of the podcast. My name is Paul Hawkins, and I'm joined by...
Damien Hicks.
And Brett Summers.
And we will be covering news topics, top 5 captains of all time, and general waffle. So, let's make a start. So, Brett Summers, what have you been mainly watching, perusing, surfing?
I was just going to say, I thought we were doing captains, not generals. Right, this week, I know. General Waffle, salute him. Right, ladies and gentlemen, this week I discovered, some of our North American listeners will probably already know about it, but thanks to Disney Plus, I've discovered the crazy world of the cartoon series Solar Opposites. It's brought to you by one half of the team behind Rick and Morty, and I can't say too much about it on here because some of it's a bit naughty and we don't want to get kicked off too early. But yeah, very funny, very close to the knuckle at times, very inventive. It's about a family of aliens whose planet is blowing up, so they end up crashing onto Earth and getting stuck here. Turns out that there's two sort of more grown-up aliens, sort of two teenager ones, and the older alien dude, whose name I forget now, hates Earth and everyone on it and just wants to leave. The kids are forced to go to school where basically the students and the teachers are just basically racist and offensive towards them because they're aliens. And
so it's like Galaxy High, but in reversal, is it?
It's a lot different to Galaxy High. And there are a lot of interesting side stories that I really don't want to give too much away because it's still brand new. There's only 3 episodes so far on Disney Plus in the UK. There is a season 2 coming as well in America, but we're still catching up over here. So, yeah, do check that out. What have you been up to, Damien?
Well, I've finally given up on the order. Quite frankly, I can't take it anymore. I mean, it was obviously so bad that I could barely remember its name, but we've now been introduced to the League of Werewolves, and that's it for me. I can't take it. It's not happening anymore. It's done.
What was it about the League of Werewolves you didn't like?
It's just the fact that they're there. It plods along. Suddenly there's a League of Werewolves.
Are these like League of Gentlemen?
No, because that would at least make it funny. It's just too painful to watch. I mean, I'm not the target audience, so I think we've said that before about most things we seem to be watching. But...
Are the werewolves sparkly?
No, I mean, it's not that bad. To be fair, the werewolf effects are actually pretty decent. But, they have werewolf names, and they've tried to create this whole mythos around the chief and the... I don't know. They're so bad I can't remember them now. But you've got the chief, the bear, as if they're Native American elders or some crap like that. So it's gone. It's off my list. I might end up being forced to watch it because Sarah might want to start watching it again. But I think she was equally as bored as I was. So there's that.
So it's officially been binned. It's binned. We need a binned noise.
I'll see if I can find a suitable Room 101 type noise that can go in there. So instead of watching that, we watched The Old Guard on Netflix. I think it was put out there a couple of months ago or sometime before Christmas probably. But I've only just got around to watching it. That's pretty decent, based on another comic book by a guy whose name I've forgotten, which I probably should have written down, but I haven't. It's got Angelina Jolie in it as some sort of immortal warrior who leads a band of other immortal warriors as a group of contractors or some not contractors. What am I saying?
I've seen the trailer. Assassins.
Assassins, yeah, contractors.
I've seen the trailers.
Yeah, they got.
Well, they are contractors in their trade.
I suppose they don't have to worry about IR35 or anything, though, do they? So yeah.
So is that like Wanted?
Don't know.
Because she plays a contract assassin type killer in that.
It's kind of Wanted with Highlander mixed in from the trailer.
They're not. So they take on worthy contracts as opposed to unworthy contracts.
And anyone that Morgan Freeman tells them to kill.
Yeah, they're the good guys, if you like. I mean, I won't go into the plot because that wouldn't be fair, but it's quite enjoyable. The only bad side is the ridiculously overplayed bad guy who's the head honcho in it, but which is kind of
a werewolf.
No, he's not a werewolf. I would have just stopped right there and then if it was a werewolf. But no, it's kind of straight out of a comic book, which I know is what the thing is based on. But it kind of jars with the rest of the film.
It's not Julian McMahon, is it? Because he's good at sort of being an actual comic book.
I couldn't tell you. I've not.
And he's on next week's show.
It's our next bonus episode interview. Yes, with.
Yeah. What about you, Paul? What's been on your watch list?
So I've been introducing Connor to Spider-Man. Well, rather he saw it on TV and said, "Let's watch that, Daddy." So we watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was quite cool.
Street or something.
So I say we watched it. He watched the first 50 minutes and then gave up, and I continued to watch it to the end. Kevin Bacon and Amanda Seyfried in You Should Have Left. Again, I'm not going to give too much away, but it's a stuck in house horror type flick. It's okay, watchable, probably 6 out of 10, if that. There are better other suspense stuck inside a house with evil goings on type films out there, but it's Kevin Bacon. I have to give it a watch. It's nice seeing him in something that aren't ads for a change. Going through Homeland, so a couple of episodes left, and then we're on the final one of season 8, which I believe is the final one ever. So we've really been hitting that box set quite a lot over the last few weeks, and I gave Lois and Clark a watch. I don't know whether any of you guys.
We're going to get to that. We're going to Superman and Lois. You mean? Yeah. Lois and Clark. So Lois and Clark is the Terry Hatcher one.
Maybe that's maybe that's what he's been watching.
Yeah.
There's no judgment here.
Oh, there is.
No, this is a free open space where you can discuss your feelings openly.
It's a safe zone.
Safe zone. That's what I was looking for.
No League of Werewolves here.
Yeah, we'll get to that bit in a minute. I mean, hold on. I've also revisited the X-Files. Again, thanks to the Disney Plus.
What's X-Files, Brett?
It's a groundbreaking series.
Is that a new show?
To be honest, I think they've just ripped off Dark Shadows, whatever it was called. What's that other one?
Anyone we might know in it?
Nah, not really. No award winners or anything.
When you say you revisited, you don't mean you've watched the entire...
No, I watched one episode.
I was going to say.
There's like 10 seasons or something. I haven't had that much free time. Now, I watched the first episode. It was on Disney Plus. I thought I'd go back and retrace it. And it does stand up still. I was very impressed, actually. And looking back now, knowing what we know for the whole season, there is a lot of groundwork laid in that first episode and that first plotline. I mean, some of those characters even come back later on, some of them about 8 or 9 years later. So they clearly had some idea of what they were doing. And there's a few faces from TV land that you'll recognise popping up here or there. Gillian Anderson is definitely still in her Clarice Starling Silence of the Lambs type mode at that point in the first episode. It slowly disappears after a few episodes.
It's that period of time, isn't it?
Yeah, and David Duchovny is clearly in his I'm a wacky FBI guy. But there was that moment when she walked into his office for the first time when Mulder met Scully, the I want to believe poster on the wall and all that, the poster everyone wanted. But you couldn't get it in this country. But it was good. It stands up, and bizarrely, the first episode now, looking back after knowing what happens later on, is probably the easiest case they ever had. They kind of done it, they proved it, and they had evidence. And the bit that cracked me up the most was just William B. Davis as the smoking man, who's literally in it for about 2 scenes or about 5 seconds of shot, and he became the most talked about person for probably 6 or 7 years while that show was hot. Of like, who was he? What was he doing? Why was he there? He doesn't even speak a line.
I remember you going
guy
on about him for a few years.
Yeah, and I mean, he was the only thing he'd done before that of note. He was the doctor who delivers the baby and Look Who's Talking. That was like his main bit before that, out of anything. And then he became like this. Well, I imagine, and it's still paying his bills now if he's doing the circuits. I also caught up on the first 3 episodes of Hellstrom, which was okay.
What's that like?
It's dark, it's scary, there's a bit of swearing in it, it's a bit uneasy. It's okay. I'm slightly put off because I already know it's been cancelled. Oh. So I don't know how far I want to go down the rabbit hole of it to then end and there be nothing else. But it's enjoyable. It's not action. They're playing the long game on it, which is probably why it got cancelled, because
I was going to say something quite unfortunate.
Yeah, certain audience types probably can't handle that much, but it is a bit sort of satanic-y, exorcist-y in places. They don't back down on that, and they set up the characters really well. Although the sister does come off a little bit, I don't know. He's more convincing than she is, but I think she's growing into it as the episodes go along. I think
I'll wait for you to watch it and then tell me if it has a decent ending. Because if it
the first
ends on a
back to back, and I'm not sure if I want to go any further because, like you say, I don't want to get drawn in and then it just ends and then I'm just annoyed. So if anyone does know how it ends, please mail in and let us know.
Don't tell us how it ends. Just tell us if it's worth watching to the end.
Did we carry on? Did we finish? Exactly.
In a plug to our recent bonus episode, I've read, or rather listened to, Chowderhead Crusades.
Oh, what did you think?
I thought it was good. I don't think I lose out by not getting probably 90% of the comic book references. I don't think that detracts from the storyline at all. I'm about an hour left of the book. If you like me, to be fair, if you listen to this, you're probably not like me. But if you are, and you're not a huge comic book aficionado, you'll still enjoy it. It's just a good story. So
that's it. Yeah, and by the way, obviously check out the bonus episode on that. We have an interview with the man behind it, the author himself, JJ Walsh.
Oh, and another thing, I've ordered a new TV, and you know what that means?
So
Disney
I
Plus.
might end up subscribing to Disney Plus. We'll see.
I'll give you a login.
So I've got a hot tub.
I'll give you a login.
He's got a TV. What have you got, Brett? We might be able to get some sponsors for this.
Well, I don't need a TV company to sponsor me. I've just ordered one.
I do need some tattoos for my right arm if there are any cool tattooists out there. I can plug them on the show. I can tell people what they look like.
Right, okay. I reckon that's enough of us trying to pimp ourselves out. I think we've got some news items to go through, haven't we?
Yeah, well, what's news item number 1, Damien?
Oh, Modok, I think.
Yeah, Modok, the new cartoon from Marvel, voiced by Patton Oswalt, everyone's favourite nowadays. He's on everything, that man, and he's amazing at it.
Do you want to give a bit of history about Modok?
Yeah, well, Modok is this really strange Marvel character who was kind of treated as a bit of a joke for years because basically he's a giant head with little arms and legs that goes around killing people. And it was always a bit of the more weirder selection of characters to pop up now and then, but now he's got his own TV series. It reminded me a bit from watching it. I got that kind of Robot Chicken kind of vibe of it with the sort of the animation style. But it does look like it might be quite a fun boundary pushing series. Anyone else?
I've watched I know nothing of this guy at all, which is probably evident from what I've already said so far today about
I know
comics.
nothing of this Modok.
I know nothing of this Modok you speak. But I don't know. It looks a bit like someone's kind of thought, what would Stewie grow up to be like? We can't use Stewie. I know what we can do. We can put Stewie's actions into Modok and turn it into a Robot Chicken style sitcom about a midlife crisis. But that being said, I found that I watched about 4 clips that are on YouTube this afternoon, and I have to say I've found myself cracking up laughing at it. So I think I might give it a go.
So you're becoming one of us.
Join us, Michael.
What about yourself, Paul?
Yeah, I thought it was watchable. It kind of like Megamind on steroids with an R-rated director, isn't it? You know, as I said, the trailer was really watchable, funny, and this is him trying to lead a normal life as well with his wife and kids. It's funny. The trailer. I guess it would be another one of those things, whether it gets the audiences up and manages to keep them hooked. But it's one of those things. I think if it's on, I'll be watching it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I don't think I'll go out of my way to watch it necessarily, or plus it or whatever you do these days. But if I'm searching through the channels and it's on, or I'm bored, I'll put it on. But I don't think it's must-watch TV. But who knows? I might watch 3 episodes and that's it. No, I'm not going anywhere. I've got the entire season's dropped. I'm sitting there and watching it until it's finished. Which, to be fair, I did with Family Guy for the first sort of 2-3 seasons. So who knows?
Next week we'll be discussing Damien's new Modok tattoo. Okay, next on the list on the news items, it's the cinematic smackdown we've all been waiting to see. Kong versus Godzilla. They're really trying to push us out. What do we think?
Do you want me to go first? Because I'll go first.
You can go first. You can go first. You look like you're ready to.
I've tried to think of a polite way of expressing my thoughts on Kong and Zilla, and I can't. It's just not. It's just not possible. I've never been interested in these two little beasties, and quite frankly, this trailer doesn't change my opinion of that. So you can carry on, and I'll just drop out of this conversation.
Excellent. Paul, over to you.
Damien exits screen left. I don't know. It's hard to buy into the hype of Godzilla anymore when it comes to these big blockbusters. I think the original, well, not the original, but the one that came out in the 90s, that was probably trailered for about a year before it came out, and everyone was kind of looking forward to it. Then it came out, and then everyone kind of lost interest. And it's a bit the same with King Kong. I don't think the several versions of Kong over the last few years have really hit the nail on the head when it comes to decent films, and now they're trying to get viewers back by introducing Kong into the Godzilla matrix. It's kind of nothingy trailer for me. You've seen Godzilla before, you've seen Kong before,
but not Kong and Godzilla together.
Yeah, but but that's the thing. I mean, Kong, he's an ape in chains and he struggles to get out of them and his prison. And you've got Godzilla and Mechazilla, or Mechagodzilla, destroying cities and boats, and you just kind of think, well, Kong's going to lose, surely, isn't he? I mean, he should do. Is my point. Obviously, he's not going to lose. I'm sure him and Godzilla will kiss and make up and save the day at the end of the movie. Maybe Kong will die again.
Apparently, as it gets near the end, it turns out both their mums have the same name.
Martha.
Yeah. But no, I know what you mean though. It is. It's like any excitement has kind of been washed away by all the other times that North America have tried to do Godzilla, and it ends up being a Godzilla in the background while we watch some family rush to reunite over a big disaster movie, and it's not really about Godzilla at all. It's kind of, and Kong was the same. They tried to remake it. It kind of looked impressive, but didn't really strike gold.
And this one looks the same, doesn't it? Obviously, there's going to be big action sequences because, well, it'd be a poor movie if there weren't. But again, from the snippets that you got from the trailer, this is also Kong being emotionally attached to that small girl that befriends him. So is it going to be her struggle to survive and saving him at the same time? It just doesn't pique my interest. I'm sorry,
I'm more excited for the next one after this. It's Godzilla versus Kong versus Dead Horse, and they're going to try and flog that to the audience, I believe.
Pom pom pom.
Oh yes, but it is. But it is. It's been done. The excitement of it's been done by they flooded it with all these monster movies. For some reason, they don't work well. They forget the creature. I'd rather watch the Japanese ones of men in rubber suits fighting each other. over cardboard cities.
You're still talking about the Godzilla films, yeah?
I believe
moved
so.
on to Power Rangers.
And the other thing is as well is it's coming to streaming at the same time as theaters, according to the trailer that mentioned it a few times. And you just kind of think, well, that's going to be free after about an hour it's been aired, or well, free in a
dodgy way.
In a dodgy way. So
which we do not endorse.
No, of course not. No, but again, how are they going to protect this? How are they going to make any money? Maybe that will kill off the
franchise
films.
completely.
Yeah.
Have they ever done a Godzilla origin story?
Isn't that in every Godzilla film?
I don't know. I watched the one you talked about earlier with what's his name?
Ding. Matthew Broderick.
Ferris in, yeah. And I don't remember it. So that's how much regard I hold Godzilla. But I just wonder if, like Brett said, they don't really concentrate on the monster. It's all about some family legging it across New York.
Yeah, so a few of them
they're allowed to film in at the time.
Yeah.
A few of them have changed the backstory depending on which version. But yeah, they normally go on about how he's the king of beasts, for millennia and all that kind of stuff as well.
Well, he just sleeps at the bottom of the ocean for.
But it'd be more interesting if they brought back Godzuki.
No, it wouldn't.
No. Even I know what that is.
But again, it's that thing. I think they were pushing it, and then Pacific Rim came along and just kicked their ass with it. And there was exciting monsters and fight scenes, and it just kind of was just really, really good.
Yeah, and Idris Elba in it as well.
Yeah, Idris Elba, Charlie Hunnam.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A film we've not watched yet. Just seen a 2.5-minute trailer for, and we've already verdict. It's shockingly bad.
And go and see Pacific Rim again.
Yeah, go and watch Pacific Rim or the new cartoon series when it comes out, Pacific Rim Dark. Details on copfaction.com. Okay, next on the list, Debris. It's the new hit series from NBC. It's going to change TV history. It's going to be amazing. What do we think?
Is it? I actually thought it looked quite good, actually. I actually thought it looked quite good, actually. That's going to be my catchphrase for the remainder of this podcast series, Paul. You've got groundbreaking. I've got actually. But yeah, and I thought it looked all right. It reminded me a little bit of Fringe, maybe just because he said he works for a government agency of some sort that look into weird stuff. But yeah, I think it looks all right. I've not done any research on it or anything because I'd rather watch it without knowing anything about it other than the clip I've seen. So some people floating about and some stuff falls from the sky.
Yeah. So the premise of the trailer.
Oh, all right.
Without giving anything away.
No, I've seen the trailer, so you can talk about the trailer.
Exactly. Yeah, just to give some context to people that may be listening. There's something that's been in space. It's been come down to Earth in lots of debris that's scattered throughout the globe, and each bit of this debris seems to have a different effect.
Debris.
So yeah, depending on what bit of the ship or the artifact has come down to Earth or is being explored per episode, there's going to be some different consequence, whether that's people who float or what was the other ones? People that disappear, yeah, all that kind of good stuff. Which I thought the trailer looked quite good. I'd give it a watch.
Yeah, I was definitely impressed with the trailer, but one bit in the trailer did concern me, was the bit when it came out and it said, coming soon to NBC, which means I ain't touching that show till I know it's got a second series. But if it's NBC, that means we're going to get 3 episodes and then it's going to get pulled to some middle of the night time slot.
Yeah, it'll be chucked to the Friday
then shafted.
Slot.
Well, you never know. Then, in this day and age, if enough fans rally around,
well, that's what they did with Fringe. They bumped it off somewhere, and
you might even get Zack Snyder directing it.
It's
7-hour episodes.
He'll just turn it black and white and make it moody and emotional because he can tell stories. He's an artist. I'll let that go now.
Yeah.
And if anyone does need to rally around and save a series, try watching Zapped on BBC iPlayer and get that another series.
Cancelled for 2 years now. I don't think it's going to come back.
It will, man. It's coming back. I'm telling you. Okay, speaking of coming back, we're now coming back to episode 2 of Power Rangers Dino Fury.
I'm really excited about this one.
Interested enough. So I'm waiting for this. You said you're interested enough to watch episode 2.
I was interested enough to watch episode 2, and I got as far as 7 minutes, and then J-Borg was introduced out of a box on a landing in the office, and that was it. It's just not happening.
That was the worst bit of the episode.
Yeah, but I just can't go beyond that. It was just too much.
Are you going to get another go, or is it binned?
No, that's it. It's binned. You got J-Borg comes along with this
Can you just explain what J-Borg is to anyone?
I don't think it's fair to even just
give that plot detail away.
Give that plot detail away. People need to see it for themselves. It's literally the CEO, I guess, of the news. It's not a newspaper, is it? Because that's just showing my age. It's a BuzzFeed style web page thing that they run. It needs a new assistant, and what does she do? She gets J-Borg as her new assistant and unveils her, and it's just a woman doing robot arms like Peter Crouch.
That's a shame, because I was kind of thinking like a mini Picard, comes out of a box in Borg form and like just does some witty little and like a bubble head or something.
I mean, as witty as it gets is slow movements of the head and juddery arm movements. It's that bad.
Did you not like the bit where they sped up her picking up the papers to make it look like she did it really quickly?
No, literally. She was unveiled from the box and did arm movements, and I'm gone. I mean, it didn't help.
I'm just saying.
You've got the guy who comes running out of the office to get the CEO to sign some papers because it's really urgent. He's clearly going to be Ranger number 3. Otherwise, there'd be no point of him having there. But, I mean, in this day and age, who rushes around getting papers signed? Have they not heard of DocuSign or anything similar? You don't need to sign papers anymore. It's just gone. Sit.
If that's the worst reason for not watching it, someone having to physically sign papers, Damien, seriously.
It's just so badly shoehorned into I was going to say the word plot, but 7 minutes in, there is no plot. I'll give you an example. One line that got me. Yeah, they're doing their training and they see T-Rex champion, and what does she say? That sounds awesome. Who comes up with these names? It doesn't.
I thought you were going to say
T-Rex and the word champion next to each other. That doesn't sound awesome. That's just putting 2 words together and coming up with a name.
Well, surely it should be Rawsome.
That is better. That is so much better.
Rawsome. We're having that. Yeah. That's copyrighted.
T-Rex champ. Just do one. It's gone. It's off the list.
Brett, can you save this episode?
It wasn't as good as last week. I'll give it that. I'm gonna go one more week. Only because I just want to see how they bring in the other Rangers. And I'm still impressed by the fact that all the Rangers do look like the age they're supposed to be, rather than most shows where they're clearly about 30, pretending to still be at school. And but you're right. That scene was basically any scene from some cheap 1986 science fiction movie.
Yeah.
Or Power Rangers from the 80s and 90s.
It reminded me. What was that show where like the guy's daughter died and he built a little robot that looked like her? Small Wonder. Because that's not creepy, is it? Do you remember Small Wonder?
It does ring a bell, but maybe that's something that's also been erased from my mind because
I just got artificial intelligence in my head.
Yeah, that was there before. Right, next on the list, another new show. No, I'm firing them out tonight. Another new show coming out, Shadow and Bone.
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah. I saw the notes for the podcast, and I couldn't remember what one it was, and then it just came into my head. I quite like the look of this. So this is the trailer. It's obviously set in a fictional world, but I guess it's kind of 1800s by looking at the guns that are in use.
They're looking for a steampunky sort of feel to it.
So, and again, I didn't realise it was based on a novel as well. So I might actually give that a read. But I don't want to necessarily read that before I see the series. Otherwise, or was it a film? I can't remember now.
Series.
Yeah. So I don't want to read the book necessarily before I see the series in case it gives it away.
I've got the blurb. If you want me to just read the blurb for you,
go for it.
Shadow and Bone finds us in a war-torn world where lowly soldier and orphan Alina Starkov has just unleashed an extraordinary power that could be the key to setting her country free. With the monstrous threat of the Shadowfold looming, Alina is torn from everything she knows to train as part of an elite army of magical soldiers known as the Grisha. But as she struggles to hone her power, she finds that allies and enemies can be one and the same, and that nothing in this lavish world is what it seems. There are dangerous forces at play, including a crew of charismatic criminals, and it will take more than magic to survive.
I mean, that doesn't do the trailer any justice whatsoever. That sounds like more of a cross between Dynasty and the OC or something. I don't know. Yeah, but I really thought the trailer was good, and I'm going to watch this when it comes out.
Did you? You thought the trailer was good?
Yeah.
John, right. The trailer. Impending doom. Check. Reluctant hero. Check. Unknown ability. Check. Weird dragony things. Check. Enigmatic leader. Check.
Moody girl. Check.
Check. Exactly.
Is it because they were writing maps manually and they weren't using Tinternet or anything like that? Your whole fear on technology again. It's a bit too old.
I'm sure there was someone in the background asking for something to be signed.
Why are they not using Google Earth? It's ruined the show.
I'm a map
know.
maker.
You know, despite of all of what I've just said, I
Where's
think
your
I do
GPS?
want to watch it. But yeah,
Are you in a bit of a grump today?
maybe I am. Maybe I should.
You've been negative about
today.
most of your inputs.
No, I haven't. I've been excited about the TV I'm getting.
And he's going to watch Modok. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if it's on and he can be bothered to watch it.
I mean, I'm still reeling from the fact that download's been cancelled this year, but you know.
Yeah, we got that as well. But think of all the TV you got to watch instead on your new telly. But yeah, I think Shadow and Bone. I'll probably give the first episode a watch, but it looked like nothing was something we hadn't seen before.
But again, at least it's a bit different to werewolves and vampires, you know. And the
magic.
The black beast or winged beast in the mist or whatever it's called, they looked a bit cool.
So no, I'll give it a go. I'll watch it, but from the first impression, it just like it's stuff we've seen before, and I've got DVDs full of stuff I've seen before that I still watch. I just watched the X-Files. That's like 28 years old again.
Careful,
you know?
Careful. If Damien finds out you still got DVDs.
I know. This me old time technology. Witchcraft it is. So old. But yeah, it's, I'll give it a watch. It seems right, but I'll stick with it. We'll find out. And last item on the news list, Superman and Lois. Paul, you wanted to talk about this earlier on. Do you want to take the lead on this one?
Well, I think I kind of called it last week before I even watched it. It does exactly what it said on the preview, didn't it? On the trailer. So it's Lois and Clark and also Superman. Who got kids, twins, and they have to go back to Smallville, and yeah, they struggle with family life because he's Superman and saving the world. Turns out that one of the kids may have superpowers too, but which one's it going to be? Is it going to be the cool jock, or is it going to be the geeky nerd that looks like he wants to stay in their basement until he's 40?
Super emo.
Yeah, super emo. Yeah, but I don't know. Is it enough to keep it going? As I said, I'm not sure it's the right time for it anymore. If it was Saturday night viewing and there's nothing else to watch on BBC or ITV, I think it would be a hit. Similar to Lois and Clark.
ITV on a Saturday.
No, exactly. But that's what I mean. Is it going to survive as a throughout streaming services or whatever? I don't know.
Okay, Damien.
I thought it was all right. I mean, everything's signposted, even down to I try not to give it away, but before the reveal, he's wearing a red jumper. He's got a red torch. So before he goes all George McFly, you know what's going to happen. And I don't quite get how Luther fits in, but maybe it's because
it's not the loop thing you think. It's not the loop thing you're thinking.
I was going to say I don't know canon.
Remember, you do know that you watched the Arrowverse. John Cryer is Lex Luthor.
Exactly. That's why I was.
That's not Lex Luthor, but
okay.
I'll keep back on that one. Or I think what I think it is if they do it what I think. But no, I really enjoyed it. I thought there was some nice almost shot by shot remakes of the Christopher Reeve movie, like when he lifted up the truck. Spoilers.
Yeah.
To show his kids. That
That's
was
in the
almost like
trailer.
what he did as a baby. That was almost like shot by shot. There's some real nice, Richard Donner Superman moments there from what he did. They also redid the, it's gone out of my head now, where the whole saving the nuclear power station by freezing a lake. That was from one of the films.
Yeah, you're right.
And there was.
So
some
basically,
nice
you liked it because they rehashed a lot of stuff that's been done.
Well, it was a homage. Wasn't
Sorry,
it?
I need to say this. There was one. I was getting a little bit bored.
Teary.
No,
Right.
bored. Like half an hour in, and then Lana mentioned that her and Clark went to a Soul Asylum concert 20 odd years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So right, I'm going to carry on. I'll carry on with this.
They're
Any
still
show that
going
mentions
as well.
Soul Asylum.
Yeah, bonus points. Oh man, what a runaway train that was. Ooh. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. I got the emotion of it. I got the whole thing with like the Pa Kent, poor bloke. Got a couple of scenes in some of the other one. That's it. Now he's dead. Mark Kent, and all that. And there's a few Easter eggs around on the like phone numbers and things like that. But and the doctors' names and things. I'll let you not work those ones out. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I got more out of that than I did Man of Steel, the Zack Snyder one where Kevin Costner was the dad and all that. And is it Diane?
Yeah, it probably wouldn't surprise you to know it's going to be a shock revelation for you.
You've never seen Man of Steel?
I've never seen Man of Steel.
Well, you just saved yourself time, really.
Yeah, exactly. This is it.
Because I think it told the story better. It hit all the right notes and actually got Superman right, rather than like, see, I could see Zack Snyder taking off at the end of this with one of the particular characters and doing a very good Son of Superman movie if he picked the emo one. That'd be right up his street. But you got the hope. I mean, Superman's always been about hope and overcoming odd. That's sort of the main character kind of, and inspiring other people. And Smallville's looks like it's got the old it's being taken over by this evil billionaire man who wants to do something with the land. I looked up who's playing him, and it's the Doctor from Miranda. But I never watched Miranda.
No, me neither.
If you ever watched Miranda, it's the Doctor from Miranda, who's the billionaire guy who's the boss. So he's going to be like the main-ish villain. And we've got this mysterious Luthor flying around.
Captain.
What, literally?
Captain Luthor.
He is literally flying around, you're right.
And so I think I know what they've done there, but we'll wait and see. But speaking of captains.
Oh, good segue.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's time now, ladies and gentlemen.
We planned this stuff, isn't it?
It's time for our new feature that we're going to do every so often. We are going to do a top 5 feature.
I thought you were going to say, top 5 captains.
Yeah.
It's a new feature. We're going to do it every week.
Week 7.
Every so often.
Captain Pugwash.
Oh, I didn't even think of him.
Italy.
Right, yeah, so this is going to be our new top 5 feature that we'll get to every so often. We'll chuck one in just for fun. And if we miss anyone out, let us know who we missed out, because I'm sure you will. Okay, and this week we're going to do top 5 captains. How this will work, the gauntlet was thrown down to 5 our top 5 captains in film and TV. We've now got the chance to make our own lists up, and we will go through it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, counting down. If the captain that you have is mentioned before you reveal him, you can confess that and strike him from your list and chuck in an alternative. And the idea is, in an ideal world, we'd all do our list with no one treading on anyone else's toes and knocking out anyone else's captain. But we'll go down, and then eventually we'll each have our own number 1 film TV captain. And again, we want your comments on this. Were we right? Were we wrong? What did we get right? What did we get wrong? Let us know. Okay, first of all,
yeah, well, we may have to.
Okay, then, so it's our top 5 captains, and we're going to start in at number 5, our 5th choice. Damien, who did you get?
So I've got Captain Jack Harkness.
Paul, who did you get?
Captain Edmund Blackadder.
Oh, and I went for Captain Ron Rico.
Explain.
Captain Ron Rico, played by Kurt Russell.
Oh,
he was a one-eyed man with a very large, boat and a laid-back attitude. He was
very large boat.
Supposed to have been a Navy veteran.
Was that in the Frog Frogtown.
No.
What's that from?
It was
That's Rowdy Roddy
Captain
Piper.
Ron.
Okay, yeah.
That was from the film Captain Ron, starring Kurt Russell.
Didn't that completely bomb?
Yeah, but he was cool in it.
Was he? I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, basically, yeah, he's this sort of one-eyed man, laid back, sort of not quite enough to be Han Solo to be sued. And he piloted the USS Saratoga. Martin Short comes and wants him to pilot through, so he takes him on the cruise, takes his money, and kind of tries to rip him off, but they become friends. And there's the whole way through, there's this whole thing of, is he telling the truth or not? And you never quite know. But then right at the end of the movie, after he delivers the family to their holiday place and everything's cool and everyone's friends again, you see him right in the final scene, and he's all cleaned up in his appearance, and he's becoming a captain on this boat for this wealthy couple, and he's not got an eye patch on anymore. So you're like, he was lying all along. Spoilers. You know, is he a con man? No, very much Kurt Russell playing Kurt Russell, really, but still cool.
And Damien, why should yours be number 5?
Simply because he managed to get his own spin-off series, and I like Torchwood, so there you go.
Rooting for the underdog.
And Paul, your number 5 again?
Captain Edmund Blackadder from Blackadder Goes Forth. He was so good. He had several of his own series. But I think Blackadder Goes Forth is probably my favourite one because of the last series. I mean, obviously, you know, he plays Blackadder. He basically tries to spend most of the series not doing anything when it comes to risking his own life, and which let's face it, he was in the wrong place to be doing that. But at the end, you know, it turns around, and I just remember watching it at the time, like most other people on telly, and just it's reminds you of what great writers that they were, not just being from, you know, the comic verse of the Blackadder series, but they could really turn things around and actually pull on the old heartstrings. So yeah, I think he deserves his place in history.
Okay, moving on to number 4. Okay, you can start this time, Paul, then I'll go then Damien. So who was your number 4, Captain Paul?
So I went for Captain Howling Mad Murdoch.
Oh, excellent. I went for Captain Sam Quint from Jaws.
Well, I'm just dumbfounded because I went for exactly the same. I've gone for Quint as my number 4. So I've now.
You can still talk about him, but you need to put a sub in now.
Yeah, I do. You're right. My sub is Captain Caveman.
You get.
I didn't like Captain Caveman as a kid.
That was my number 3.
Ew.
Wow.
So now I've got to put a sub in.
So your 4 has knocked out my 3.
Yeah.
No, the other way
so
around.
I've got to put a sub in when I get to number 3 now, right? So, okay, so we'll do Captain Sam. Oh, no, start with Paul, sorry. Back to you, Paul. Go for yours.
So mine was Murdoch from the A-Team. So, yeah, it was just a staple of Saturday night telly for me. Loved every minute about the A-Team. And I know people had Face as their favourite character or BA, but Murdoch was my favourite. And, yeah, I just loved everything about coming home for your tea from being outside playing with the theme tune coming on, and yeah, it's the A-Team. What's not to love? So he's my favourite character, and he wasn't in every episode. We certainly not in the early ones. So I think that's when I got more interested and excited when he came on screen as well, because I'd have to break him out of somewhere or
they'd always have to get him halfway through. It was like, now we need to spring Murdoch to do something.
Yeah, we need a pilot. Right. So Brett, why Captain Quint?
Captain Quint, played by Robert Shaw, because he was just such a badass who took no shit. The town was in peril. The mayor was still letting people go to the beach because he didn't want to lose money. I mean, what kind of political leader would leave its people in danger just to make money? That doesn't happen in the world. And he'd been in the army, and he was bootlegging rum and moonshine, and he could drink, he could fight, and he'd done that cool bit where he'd done his fingernails down the board and made everyone pay attention. And basically the whole town were too scared, and he stepped up and was like a man's man. He was well cool, and probably had one of the coolest beards going. And also he had that very important thing of all people should have. He looked like you wouldn't knock his pint over.
Yeah, definitely. There's nothing I can add to that. You've pretty much summed up everything I would have said about Captain Quint.
Calm down now, it's all right. Took my tablet. Okay, so who was your sub then, Damien?
My sub was Captain Caveman, purely because no one else could get away with riding around in a van with a group called the Teen Angels.
I actually had that written down, pretty much word for word.
So yeah, that's it.
And also, technically, he probably was the world's first superhero. So, because he's a caveman.
Yeah.
Godzilla was around before him, wasn't he?
It's not a superhero though, is he?
Well, he saves the world.
He's a kaiju. But yeah, Captain Caveman, and Mel Blanc was his voice as well. So like that was always a bonus. Or Mel Blanc, however you want to.
Mel Blanc.
Upset someone.
You sound like a chef or something.
Yeah, I know. Or if you're American, Mel Blanc.
That's better. That's how we're all used to hearing it.
Oh no. Okay, so now it's number
3.
And it's I've got to pick one of my subs now because you knocked out Captain Caveman.
Okay.
I am going to go for. Oh, choices. I'm going to go for Captain Jonathan Power, played by Tim Dunnigan. David?
So I'm going for Captain Hercule Platini.
Phew, no one got mine.
And yours is?
So I'm going for Captain Dread Pirate Roberts.
Oh, okay. Captain...
Son of a... No, it's not happening.
In particular, the one including and most performed by Wesley in The Princess Bride.
Was he on your list, Damien, or did you get around to it?
He's on my list, but I'm also going to take issue with the fact that you've put him at number 3.
Well, you don't know who my number 2 and 1 are yet.
It doesn't matter who your number 3 or number 2 is.
Well, I went
because the Captain Dread Pirate Roberts is number 1.
Well, your number 2 is your number 1 now.
I'm glad he's on our top 5 list. Let's put it that way, and we both hold him in high esteem. I only had him so far down because I was judging also on the span of some of the other captains' career and influence on mainstream media, films and TV. So it was a tough one for me. But yeah, it's a great film, great character. No, nothing more to say. If you haven't seen The Princess Bride or read the book, do both at the same time.
If it helps, he's not on my list at all.
I don't know if that helps or not.
So Paul's done this. So then, Damien, who was yours?
So mine was Captain Platini. He is the captain of the hollow ship on Red Dwarf season. I've forgotten already. Season 3, season 4, I think. Yeah. But he's only got about 3 minutes of screen time. But he manages to epitomise all the characteristics of bad sci-fi that have been on TV running up to like 92, 93, whenever it was first broadcast, in 3 minutes of screen time. It's just the perfect perfect bad sci-fi captain. Doesn't get better.
Excellent. And I went for Captain Jonathan Power, who was Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future, which is the 80s show, the first to kind of bring in CGI and everything, and you could have the spaceship toy that you shot at the TV and got points for and stuff like that. And it was the first, and it was the first kids show to really use like story arcs and people dying. Although as it went on, the toy people got more and more involved in it, and you weren't allowed to shoot robots blatantly on screen anymore because it might scare children, and they weren't allowed too many explosions, and it just got more and more hampered down by standards and practices and TV networks and all that. And Power was played by Tim Dunnigan, who was the original face in the A-Team before he got replaced after the pilot by Derek Benedict. And and it still lives on today. And I mean, it always had the season 1 finale when they pilot, who was the female, played by Jessica Steen, who probably hasn't got this on her CV anymore, but she blew up the power base to save everyone and died, and that was like on Christmas Day in the future, and that was the final episode of season 1, and it never made a season 2, so it had a really, really dark ending and screwed up many children across the world.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Okay, then now it's me to start with.
I thought it was my turn this time.
You started just now. I
haven't started one yet. I went last, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, you start, Paul.
So my number 2 is Han Solo.
Cool. My number 2 is Captain Spaulding.
So my number 2 is the captain from How I Met Your Mother. Played by
I nearly had that. I nearly done that.
See, I thought one of you would go for that.
And you were right.
I was right. Do I get a bonus point?
There's no points.
Okay, Paul.
Yeah, so Han Solo. What more is there to say? Brilliant character again, from the best of the best Star Wars films. Again, it was my childhood. Han Solo was the guy that everyone loved, and everyone, he was the rogue pilot captain of the Millennium Falcon. I don't need to. I don't even need to speak about him, do I? Let's face it, everyone knows Han Solo.
Not the best dad.
Well, I mean, is it nature v nurture in that case?
Yeah. Well, that Skywalker family's messed up anyway. So, I went for Captain Spaulding, played by Sid Haig in House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, and Free from Hell. Yeah, because he doesn't like a giant psychotic clown who murders and butchers people. The patriarch of the Firefly family, and he's just done some cool stuff. Most of it, which I can't really talk about or quote from on here. But
I mean, we could do. We could just try and get that little E symbol next to the title of our podcast.
Yeah, but then it cuts us down on everything. We're not that big yet. I thought it was good, and also it's nice to have an evil captain on the list because most of them are pretty good. And yours, Damien?
Oh, mine was because I've had to.
Yours was the captain.
It was. I haven't changed the running order, but I've had to just change my notes a little bit. You're right. It was the captain from How I Met Your Mother. I mean, doesn't matter what situation you're in. It's a funeral, wedding, whatever. You've got to refer to him as the captain, and also use sailing terms. And boats. Brilliant.
And it's Carl McLachlan as well.
Exactly. There's just nothing wrong with the episodes that he's in.
Excellent choice. All right. It's that time, isn't it? It's our top of our lists.
It is the top of our lists.
And I think I'm not actually worried that you two are going to have the same captain as me because mine's too obvious.
No.
If we've all got the same one, that would be great.
Well, I've had to shift mine, haven't I? So.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you want to start, then who's your new number one?
So I originally had Captain Dread Pirate Roberts, which we will go into. I'm not letting this go. But I've replaced him with Captain Sam Vimes.
That's easy for you to say.
Yeah, exactly. I've replaced him with Captain Sam Vimes of The Watch. Brett's looking a bit blank. It's Discworld novels, but also has appeared on screen in a couple of Sky One adaptations, and also the BBC America has got a Sam Vimes in it, although I've not seen it yet, so I'm not going to comment. I've read stuff about it, but until I've seen it,
cool.
Jury is out.
Okay, just to this is my normal look, but yeah, I didn't know who it was. Paul.
Captain James T. Kirk.
Yeah.
Has to be for me. Again, this character has been going in mainstream media for decades. And let's face it, I know there's was Picard better? Probably was. All right. So he probably got things done in a little bit more Starfleet-esque way and followed the lines a bit more, or guidance a bit more than Captain Kirk. But when you look about how groundbreaking Star Trek was at the time, it was phenomenal, and the very fact that it was still on TV and still very, very watchable when I was growing up, didn't lose anything, and as I said, even the new films,
just a few hairs.
Well, the character is still going in the new films, and I just think the longevity of the character and everything else that they've influenced Star Trek has influenced is phenomenal. So not to have him on one of our top spots, I think would be a miss. And I knew that you two wouldn't pick him, so I had to.
Well, I went with the real badass captain. My number one is Captain William Buck Rogers, as played by Jill Gerard.
Yeah.
A real man's man. So, okay, Damien, going through your reasonings then, please. Hello?
Sorry, I was on mute there.
No, that's it now. You had your chance. we've run out of time.
Okay, we'll do it again. So, I thought I'd been logged off or something. I was like, no one's talking.
whilst I was on mute, I was saying I'm guessing I have to talk about Captain Sam Vimes. I can't talk about the Dread Pirate Roberts until we get to the.
Yeah.
So Sam Vimes, if you look at the books as well as some of the adaptations, I think he's in. He's a gumshoe detective crossed with Inspector Morse stroke Inspector Frost. Just epitomizes a kind of old-fashioned policeman mixed in with the weird and wonderful world of Discworld, and gets the job done. What more can you say? I'm not necessarily sure that any of that ever comes across in the screen versions, but
not as much as the novels.
You're right.
And
exactly.
the books are better.
What a surprise! Especially the world of or the mind rather of Terry Pratchett can't be relayed on screen really, but. There you go.
Excellent.
That's Captain
Paul?
Vimes.
I've already spoken about Captain James Steve
at
Kirk.
length.
Yeah.
What's your favourite Kirk memory?
Well, it's the old meme nowadays when everyone that just always gets stuck in my head when everyone posts something or puts a tweet on, and you get the old meme of Kirk going, and then to Bones doing the old nod. I'm nodding for people.
I was going to say we need to explain what we're doing there.
Yeah, but it's just everything, from the fights that he's into to always getting the girl or alien or whatever that may be, to always breaking the rules but somehow managing to make it right, and all the while in the guise of the perfect Starfleet captain, even though he wasn't. Yeah, as I said, he's phenomenal.
But I'm pretty sure that Captain William Buck Rogers would have beat him in a fight.
Don't know about that one.
I mean, come on, this was a United States Air Force and NASA pilot, the commander of Ranger 3, launches in 1987, flies through some weird stuff in space where it gets frozen. He drifts for 504 years, wakes up in the 25th century, isn't even concerned that everyone he knows and loves is dead, just hops straight on it, saving Earth from an invasion, and then proceeds for the next two series to basically tap every bit of 25th century booty he can with a little robot next to him. What else can there be? Voiced by Mel Blanc.
and it's also a good theme tune.
Oh, definitely. Especially the one when he sang it. In the pilot episode, right? The theme tune, sing the theme tune. Yeah. So yeah, it was there, and also just think of that 25th century booty that he went with. Jamie Lee Curtis even pops up at one point. They're all in there. Marky Post, all the sort of late 70s, 80s TV females are popping up, and Buck's there. He's there, and he even saved Arnold from Different Strokes at one point, who was the president of some planet.
That's right.
What's not to like about him?
Almost convincing.
I just think some of the later episodes just did get a bit random and surreal.
Did he lose a fight? No, he didn't lose a fight, not with his hands. There was even one episode where they were outnumbered, but he used some American football, what do you call it?
Moves.
What they call it, the moves they do. The plays, that's it. He used some American football plays to knock down some of the guards and run through because they hadn't heard of American football.
Is that where Flash Gordon got it from?
Yeah.
It was before Flash Gordon, yes.
That's what
You may have done that. Yeah, no, I'm
Gordon
saying. Yeah, you're right. I was agreeing with you.
Cool.
You may have a copyrighted point there.
So then, do we think we can get a general consensus of these 5 captains? I think if it's coming down to a vote, my number 1 is still, despite the fact that you put him at number 3, Paul, is the Dread Pirate Roberts. Without his curiosity, Wesley would have never got back to Buttercup. Humperdinck would have started a war with Gilda, and the Six-Fingered Man wouldn't have got his retribution. So that, for me, is why he should be number 1.
All good reasons, but what we need to understand is mankind and humanity would have been wiped out without Buck Rogers. He had to go on that ship, kind of seduce Princess Allura, who was like the evil lady that was coming, sort of, flash her those Buck Rogers shiny white teeth, lure her in a bit, get Wilma on the board as well, maybe a little bit of Menage a trois, who knows? It's the
I thought
future.
you were going to start going into Mambo number 5 then.
Okay, so
saves humanity.
So Dread Pirate Roberts saved a few people. Buck Rogers saved a few people. Captain Kirk.
Mankind.
Well, yeah, Captain Kirk did it every week.
And Hawkman. He saved Hawkman as well.
And Captain Kirk saved the past. He saved the future. You know,
Didn't save Joan Collins, did he? Buck would have.
I'm just saying, if we're talking about amount of people that they saved, then Kirk wins. Although
hang on, right? My reasoning here then is the Captain Dread Pirate Roberts appears on 2 lists. He's the only captain.
No, he isn't.
Shut up.
Captain Caveman.
And the other one's from Jaws.
Yeah, Paul.
Captain Quinn.
Oh, damn it!
I'm happy to push him up to number 2.
I thought I'd aced it there. I thought I'd got the pulled the trump out of the sleeve, whatever the phrase.
Well, look, let's face it. Kirk isn't on anyone else's list, so maybe he
he should be on. You're right there. He should be on a top 5 list. He did say humanity, and we forget he got the whales. Without those whales, humanity would have died.
Yeah.
George and Grace the whales. Without them, and the lady he brought from time who ended up buying Chucky the doll for a little boy. I forget the actress's name, but without her, whales would have died and stuff, and humanity would have got killed by that weird probe thing that never ever got mentioned again. So yeah, there are reasons, but Buck's still out there.
I'm not saying we should knock him off the list. I'm just saying.
Well, you can lower him down. That's what
Okay, just while we're doing that, what other alternatives did we have? Just out of the ones that we didn't mention, just out of interest.
So I also had Hunt for Red October.
That's not the captain.
Sean Connery, Captain Mark Ramius.
Oh, cool.
Just because that was a great little film, and just hearing Sean Connery going "No Paruski" in a really bad accent, but the film's brilliant. And I was trying to think of sea captains in this time.
Excellent. Any other alternatives?
Well, I did have Solo on my backup list, and way down on my backup list, if I'm honest.
The other one I had was Tom Hanks
from.
Well, that's the point. He does Captain Sully, which again, based on real life events, great captain for saving all those people through his quick flying.
That should have been your number 1, because then we went and had to slag it off because it was real.
But he also played the captain in Saving Private Ryan as well, and both of which are.
Oh, and he was films. Captain Phillips.
Exactly, yeah.
And he knows mermaids. I had a couple. I had Captain Roger Murtaugh. Played by Danny Glover.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah. I didn't really cast.
Well, to be fair, when I asked him about the list, he was too old for this shit, man. And then I had Captain Clarence, I can never say it, is it Ovia, played by Peter Graves in Airplane. Technically, he wasn't a great captain, but that was what made him a good character.
Yeah.
I went for Captain Amazing, Greg Kinnear from Mystery Men, where he's just covered in corporate sponsorship and he's just basically told what to do. I had Captain Carter, played by Garrick Hagan from Starfleet. Captain John Sheridan, Bruce Boxletter from Babylon 5. And my other one that nearly so made it to the list in the substitutions, but I ended up putting Captain Power in instead, was Captain Chaos, Dom DeLuise from Cannibal Run in Cannibal Run 2.
Ooh, that's a good
dun,
choice.
dun, dun.
Yeah, dun, dun, dun. It nearly came in. So I don't think we're ever going to agree on who is the greatest captain. But it's
no,
good
you're right, we're not. But we all know it's Dread Pirate Roberts, so whether we want to agree on here or not, it's just a known fact.
Well, let's face it, Dame's going to be doing the editing. So, so we're all agreed on who's number 1 then. Thanks.
That's
chaps.
when they all agreed I was right. And to all our listeners out there, were we right, were we wrong? Let us know. Who did we forget? There's always going to be that one that we all totally forgot, and then we're going to bang our heads against the wall and go, how possibly do we forget that person? So yeah, do let us know, because it's bugging me now. I know there's someone that I've totally forgotten and overlooked, but we will find out.
No doubt. Yeah.
Okay, then moving on for the next week. What's everyone got in the pipeline? What's everyone got planned?
I actually haven't got anything planned. So I'm going to finish the last couple of hours I've got left of Chowderhead Crusades, obviously, and probably start on my next Sunder book, that I was reading before Jared Head came along.
I think I'm still taking my deep dive through Star on Disney Plus, seeing what other shows I can revisit. I might try a bit of Buffy. I might see what else is on there. Solar Opposites, I might just watch again because it is that good, and I do recommend it. I may also rewatch Zapped again on BBC iPlayer because it's amazing and should have a 4th series. If you haven't watched it, check it out. Paul, what about yourself?
Nothing. I've decided that TV books and audiobooks should be banned. And that there's no. No.
You're going to watch Star Trek?
Finishing off Homeland. Might even do that tonight or tomorrow night. There's only 3 episodes left. And then I think, like yourself, I was going to check out what's available on Disney. The only thing I'm in kind of 2 minds about is whether to start watching Snowpiercer season 2 or not. But yeah, the jury's
you
still
need
out.
to start watching. You need to start watching Sons of Anarchy as well because you haven't seen that yet, and that's all on Disney Plus.
Right, one box set at a time. But yeah, and maybe when we finish Homeland, that can be something that myself and Shell can watch then.
Cool. Anything else? Anyone else got anything?
No, my mind's gone blank. There was something I was going to watch, but I've forgotten what it was.
Pooch Perfect.
So I've got in my head at the moment. Was Makepeace a captain?
He was a detective.
Yeah.
It was Dempsey and Makepeace, wasn't it?
No,
he was an American detective. He wasn't a captain.
No, he was Dempsey.
What do you mean he was Dempsey?
And she was Makepeace.
Well, I didn't say. I just said he was a detective.
Yeah, well, he said he was a detective. Yeah, but she was the police force because that's why he come over.
She wouldn't have been a captain.
What? Because she's a woman?
No, because they were both out.
They were both
crimes.
detectives. They weren't. Neither one was piloted in from the States to add a bit of exotic accent to the whole proceedings. I don't think either of them were
captains.
Above I was going to say on top of each other. Neither of them were a rank above each other.
The only bit I can remember is that their boss was the dad of Pepsi Tate from Tiger Tales. Oh yeah, Detective Sergeant Lady Harry Makepeace.
Yeah. And thanks for listening to Cult Faction Podcast Episode 2, Captains, Kings and Other Things. Be sure to check us out on the website or other streaming services, and please do subscribe and give feedback and reviews. And that's a goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
And a farewell from me.
And we'll see you. Well, we won't see you because it's a podcast, but we'll imagine you listening to us next time.
Yeah, that just sounds wrong.
Superman.
Can you hear me clamp and bang?
Cool, it's really off-putting. All I can see is your forehead.
I can just start them.
He looked to the left.